Well, it's the day after the night before. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. I'm Anton, joined by Lukey Boy. Yesterday, we witnessed West Ham travel to Anfield, a place, whatever team you are, you're always going to, teams struggle when they go to Anfield and they struggle to turn up. And sometimes, teams of late can go there and get absolutely torn to shreds. But look, we're going to dissect the game in a second, mate. We'll dissect the game and look into it a little bit and talk a little bit further about it. But all in all, in a nutshell, you can't but not be proud of the performance we gave yesterday against Liverpool, can you?
Yeah, the performance-wise was great. I think it's one of them things as well where, because Rice was out, when the teams were announced, I was thinking this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to us. Being away to Liverpool without our best player, going to be tough. But then, to be honest with you, sometimes it has a strange effect where the team tend to gel better and they group better and they kind of get to that point where, like, right, well, we've got to work doubly as hard because without him, that's the only choice we've got. Which I think possibly even Man United are doing this afternoon against Man City with Ronaldo being out. Man United fans might disagree with me there, but I think performance-wise for us, it was really, really good. It was just at the same time as it has been for so many games lately, very frustrating. That's the only thing that I can sort of that's the negative. But the positive is that we did play really well, and a lot better than I thought we would, to be honest with you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, get your comments in the chat. We'll come through the chat in a second. Yeah. But, as of late... Oh, are you there? Oh, he's gone. He's gone for a second. But as of late, I mean, listen, performances haven't been fantastic. I think we played a lot better against Wolves. Southampton, the first half was great. The second half wasn't. But what's becoming clear as mud to the eye of a West Ham fan, and really not just a West Ham fan, it's really any fan from any footballing team, any fan of football. You look at West Ham and you go, God, if you had the final third, if you sorted out the final third, West Ham could be so much further up the league, like with the chances that you create and sometimes with the football that we play. Look, like, this is not me exaggerating here. I'm sitting watching a game with my dad last night and my dad's like, even my dad's turning around and he's going, and this is not a blame culture show either, right? But my dad's sitting there last night and he's going, oh, we just can't rely on Antonio all the time. Like, it's all the time we rely on him. It's all the time we rely on him. And Antonio gave us a great performance. And but other players got themselves into positions. Again, we'll dissect the game as we go along. But other players got themselves into such great positions, and we just couldn't put that ball in the back of the net. And that's, when we do a lot of these shows, we have said for such a long time, we lack in the final third. But I swear to God, look, that performance yesterday, even though we got beat, has given me a lot more confidence for West Ham moving forward as a club. Like, I'm going to try and say this in another way. That performance yesterday confirmed that we are not the West Ham of old. even though
Yeah.
sometimes we get a West Ham of old performance. But that performance yesterday has shown that we do have a backbone. We do have a strong 12, 13 players, and all we need to add to that is a couple of bits of gold dust, everything we've been crying out for over the last 3 or 4 seasons with the transfer windows. And if we can find that, and if those chances can get converted, my word, like, the dream could really be on for a good claret and blue future. Yeah. Am I exaggerating here?
I do honestly understand what you're saying, and the last 2 performances, the Wolves performance and a little bit against Southampton, really, yesterday as well. They do make you think that there is still we're still in a transition period, and B, there's a resurgence still going on. I think yesterday, like you say, we're missing it in the final third, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think we missed Jesse Lingard yesterday. We missed that bit of quality in the final third. And maybe when you look back on last season, he really was the reason why we finished as high as we did, because we had that extra quality that we haven't got now this season. And it kind of tells you that I've just been on Facebook and Twitter before I come on here, and I have retweeted it and stuff. Moyes has apparently, whether it's true or not, come out and said, yeah, we could go and get a goal scorer, but they wouldn't work as hard as Mikel Antonio. Now that as a point, that's very true, right? They wouldn't. If you got just a guy who scores goals, probably wouldn't work as hard running round as Antonio. But when you look at yesterday, the boys done all the running round, absolutely all the running round. You can't tell them they didn't fight for the badge. But at the second day, we needed a goal scorer. We needed someone to put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, Moyes can only put that hard working thing to, so much for so much time, because okay, you can do as much running around as you want. You can try and force the effort as much as you can. You run around like headless chickens, or run around to your bone dry of energy and stuff like that. But you've got to stick the ball in the onion bag at some point. You know what I mean? It's fantastic we're playing better and stuff like that. But if Moyes has got this agenda that he wants us to be a top club, he wants us to be competing for Europe every other season, then his comments don't really make sense to me. And it's a shame, because we put in all the effort yesterday and come away with nothing. And we've even had an injury for Bowen. So,
And listen, I don't know. I'm so torn. Like, I'm not torn in terms of I totally back Moyes. That I'm not torn by that.
Me and you are very different sports, by the way, because you're like I used to be. You're more positive.
Yeah,
after
I'm extremely.
A game, and I tend to be very emotionally.
Yeah. But I think I don't know. I can be all about. The thing is, though, like, me and you are different, because the difference is when we moved to the London Stadium. After that summer, I was gone. I wasn't a happy West Ham fan, and people were trying to adjust to the stadium where it wasn't the stadium for me, it was the transfer window for me that was done. If you ever remember back in the chat, the amount of arguments we were having with certain people who don't get involved in the channel anymore. But it just shows you like how everyone thinks differently. But there is a part of me that listens to what David Moyes is saying, and looking at the West Ham side, right? And now what we've got Fornals, Lanzini, you've got Vlasic's, you've got Benrahma's, you've got all this creativity in the middle of the park. And we have to be reminded, right? We have to be reminded of players like Sebastian Haller, who are banging in goals left, right, and centre, and out forward. And sometimes when West Ham have played with a striker like that in our team, or quite a lot in the last several years, it doesn't suit our style. And I've always joked about the comparison I'm going to make here. But you've got Man City who shop at Waitrose, and they've got all the money and they buy all the top notch produce, so they get all the little creative players. And then West Ham shop at like Aldi's, and we go and buy the kind of have to find the diamonds in the roughs, the Lanzinis of the world, the Fornals of the world, the creative players. But what we're trying to do is kind of emulate in a roundabout way that we only have one kind of target man who has to work hard for the team. And that's why Moyes is being stubborn in what he's looking for. So we are sitting here saying, well, let's look at Origi. What can Origi offer? Well, I don't know. I mean, I've watched Origi games and I like him and I think he would work for West Ham. But obviously, according to Moyes, he's not going to do the work rate that what Antonio does, because when I think of the Liverpool game, that performance from Antonio is the performance we want week in and week out, that we've been lacking a lot as of late. And he was back to his best by doing the hold-up play. He was holding up the defence. He was waiting for the midfielders to come in and play. So, yeah, I get his comments. Do they frustrate me? Yes. Because I think I want to know more. I think that's probably the key part that maybe you, Luke, and the fans need to know. Like, if you're going to say that comment, then now what I want to know is, please give me some names of strikers you've looked at, and please tell me why they don't suit our system. Because that would make it easier for me.
I love that. Before anyone goes anywhere, right? We're thinking that I'm slagging off Moyes. I am a little bit. It is a criticism because I just don't understand it, right? But I love what he's done with the club. I think he's a fantastic guy, and saving us from relegation and making us a European outfit potentially, like long term, is fantastic. And he's done with barely no money. He's done an amazing job. We are having an amazing season. But what annoys me more, and I think it annoys quite a few other players, is that when we've got the potential, the chance that he himself says he wants as well, to bring in players who are going to make a difference, right? There's a whole world of players out there, right? You can't tell me that we can't get one. Anyway, it doesn't make sense the fact that you wouldn't help.
Apparently, we can.
You wouldn't help the team you already have to try and propel themselves. Now, yesterday there was 3 players that weren't Antonio that had golden opportunities yesterday to make a difference, right? There was at 4-0s. That's one thing. I don't know if anyone's watching this as well. I thought I was dreaming. I honestly felt I was dreaming at times that we got those opportunities. The Liverpool was so, I don't want to say bad, but they allowed us to create those chances. The ball over the top for 4-0 that he missed. I can't believe he even was in a position to get into that.
But I know you've got more to say on that moment, but I'll quickly come in there. Watching the game, right? I mean, and we'll kind of go into the game in bit by bit a little bit. Listen, from the off, it was all Liverpool. There's no ifs or buts about it. They had us chasing our tails. It was taking us time to flow into the game. And you were worried at that point that if they could have broke down our defence, because fair play to our defence, we were blocking, we were doing this, we were doing that, that if they opened up the gates, the floodgates would open and bang, they would start banging in goals left, right and centre. It didn't happen like that. No. But what we did have was, chance after chance, really, not chance after chance, but good tackles from Craig Dawson on Salah. Salah wasn't getting through, and then it came up to that time when they got the goal. And I remember, but even before that, Antonio had a chance, and if you remember the chance, he made the dart and run down the left-hand side, and he hit it on the half volley with his left foot. And it went. It was powerful, and it was a good save from Alisson. But at that point, you thought, right, he's made a good connection with that ball. Antonio's up for this today.
It was one touch too much. That was. I remember that one. It was one touch too much, and you're just thinking that is sort of pretty much summed us up in this game. One touch too much because we hadn't got the confidence to hit it straight away. You remember when Jesse Lingard was playing for us? I'm going to bring him up again. He would take 2 or 3 touches and then bang the goal in, or he'd take it first time round. He wouldn't worry about taking touches; you just spank it and normally go. And that's so it's come to the point now where yes, we're playing well, but we're freezing in front of goal. We've got a lack of confidence. And the only one who seems to be able to do anything in front of goal is Bowen.
Go on,
he seems to, is it 2-1? Oh yeah.
2-1.
Yeah, I'm giving up. I'm in that emotional state now where I'm just like, we're not going to get it anyway. Who cares? But yeah, I know what you mean, and it was good that he was up for it. And but at the same time, there is no blame on my part to Antonio because I don't think he's getting helped out. But there you go.
Yeah,
that's
but as the game was progressing, Antonio had a chance earlier on. It started to become, a game in the midfield. And Diaz from Liverpool, he looks like a proper player. He really does look like a proper player. Really clever.
Supposed to get him, weren't we?
Yeah, you don't know what you believe anymore. And obviously we had the news. I mean, we haven't even discussed the starting lineup, but I'll bring it up for you there. We were missing Declan Rice. We didn't know that was going to happen. We heard it's through an illness. He should be okay for the
saving him for the
Europa League game. And Vlasic came back in, so Lanzini kind of sat back in alongside Souček, and Vlasic kind of supported Bowen and Antonio up front. We played with the usual recently formation of back 5. When you seen that lineup, though, look, what was your thoughts? Genuine thoughts, mate.
When my arse went when I saw Rice weren't in the team, I thought
really?
Don't tell me yours didn't.
No,
Come on,
mate. I don't know. Right, I'm not going to come across like right. So Rice, world class, unbelievable. But we have already had to play without Rice a couple of times. Not many times, but a couple of times when he picked up. Was he double yellows or something like that? And I can't even remember exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we actually gave a couple of good performances. Now that doesn't mean that I want Rice missing. Absolutely not. He comes straight back into that side. But the point I was I was okay with was that we actually have players that can step in. Now it's not the Alex Crowells. It's not the Alex Crowells. It's the fact that we can rely on players like Lanzini.
I meant instant reaction, not
I know
not 10 minutes later when I went, okay, we might make us work harder as an overall team and stuff like that. So
absolutely, no, I get it. But then I looked at the formation and I thought, well, 5 at the back, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to lie, I quite like the 5 at the back. I think it works for us. And then when I look at the forward line, because we're not shy of scoring goals, mate, and we're certainly not shy of creating chances. So as long as we can nullify that problem with them, all the work that Declan Rice does, all that sort of stuff. In particular, yesterday's game, I don't know, in my opinion, after 20 minutes, I forgot about Rice, but that's just because the game was actually quite an interesting game as a neutral to watch. If you were watching the game, it was an interesting game, but I don't even know, we got lost there. The starting lineup, your thoughts were squeaky bum time, really.
It was. I was quite pleased to see Vlasic start, actually. I was like, here he is. He's going to get his chance and he's going to prove that he's worth the money. Now, I didn't think he played particularly brilliant yesterday, but I think he played particularly badly either. It was a big game for him to come in.
Felt like his performance yesterday was an all-round team performance from Vlasic. Really, it wasn't an individual performance from him. I think he gave everything for the team. I think he looked a little bit weak on several occasions, etc. But anyway, listen, fast forward, 28 minutes gone. Manny gets on the end of a pass from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It goes to VAR, puts the ball in the back of the net. Here's the image here that they go on. And listen, I think the thing I'm questioning here on VAR is the inconsistencies in it. I think we're all questioning that. It's such an inconsistent program. We've seen literally carbon copies of this that weren't given. We've seen carbon copies of this that were given. And it's just the inconsistencies. But when you're looking at such minimal margins, it's so goddamn heartbreaking when you look at that, innit? Really.
It's a strange goal to concede, frustrating goal to concede because it was so simple. Of all the things we've managed to stop Liverpool doing yesterday, that was like the one ball that I thought, how has Mane got to that? There was Fabianski and Dawson in between. And neither of them stopped him getting the ball, which is frustrating. VAR, I've kind of given up on personally because of the inconsistencies. And in this particular league, we don't use it to its best. I don't think. I think every other league, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat who's watching this, they let the referee decide. If the referee thinks he's not too sure about a particular subject, he'll go over to the TV on the side. He'll look himself. He hasn't got anyone in his earpiece saying, I think you should have a look at that again. So it's all down to the referee's decision. And yesterday, it's one of those where we're away to Liverpool. It would have been a huge decision for the referee to give the goal against, to cancel the goal out. Had we maybe been at home, it might have been different. But I genuinely, people might call me a conspiracy theorist for saying that, but I think there's a top 6 bias. There always has been, top 4, top 6, and maybe if we're at home, they don't give that, but they did give that. It's. I don't really personally see how it's onside or offside because it's the I don't get the arms rule. They're all about the sleeves, but like my sleeve here, if I extend my arm, my sleeve pulls up. So how do they judge that because you've moved that forward? I don't know. It's how they're making these rules up, so I don't understand it. But it would, for me, it was like, here we go again, right, 1-0. But the good thing for me is we come straight back. We try to get a goal straight back, and that's like you said, that's a new West Ham. That's an old West Ham mentality. It'd be like, right, defend, let's try and get out of this with the least goals conceded. So it was good. It was good in some ways.
Well, the thing is that kind of really sparked the game into life, and a couple of minutes later, they had a clearance. We had to clear the ball off the line again. I think Fabinho tried to do a dink ball through for Alexander Arnold's run down the right, and Diaz turns his square We hit it kind of goalwards. And Fabianski was struggling there. I think there was a bit of, they were trying to clear. It was a bit of pinball at that moment, and we managed to clear it off the line. However, we then broke forward, mate. And it was that moment. And I think, I don't know who played the ball. It was Johnson, wasn't it? It was Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
And Fornals broke the offside trap. And like every single West Ham fan in that stadium, and like every single West Ham fan watching it on the telly, it was like that kind of moment of, what is going to happen here? What is going to happen here?
You know, you weren't in the school. That's the weird thing. I think I'm putting in the chat. You agree with me? There was a big part of, I think, all of us that was going, he ain't scoring, yeah. He ain't gonna do it. This ain't gonna go in.
Because sometimes we've seen Fornals and even Bowen in those circumstances where they haven't been able to finish it. And in actual fact, what Fornals decided to do,
it's the worst decision he could have made.
if it had paid off, mate, we'd been absolutely buzzing off or not. If it had paid off, but there just wasn't enough power in it. I mean, he beat the keeper. It just wasn't enough power in it to get over the line. And at that moment, you're just thinking, just try and place that ball. Just try and place that ball in the back of the net.
Just put it through his legs and just go straight down the middle.
And obviously, there you go, the goal line clearance from Alexander-Arnold. They're
saying that Alexander-Arnold's clearance was world-class goal line clearance. My nan could have taken that off the line. It took so long to get there. It was my frustrating shot ever. How long is it going to take him? Right, we're gonna count this down on the stopwatch. Ridiculous. It took so long to get there. Antonio could have had a cup of tea and still not tried to get there because he was obviously going to get there, just waiting for the time. But yeah, it was not he didn't make the right decision. But again, he's not a striker, is he? And the funny thing was with Fornals is he scored a harder one. It was a harder one to score in a reverse fixture, wasn't it? When he clipped it off Allison and got the 2-2, was it, to get to go in?
Yeah,
or 2-2, something like that. But yeah, it was it wasn't a decision to make. But again, that's the difference between being a world class team and being a team that's potentially world class.
Yeah, Yep. And I think that's the thing as well, though. People are saying, how did we get into that position? But what we've got to give credit for the players like Fornals is, I think he's been unfairly criticised a lot this season for a player that wasn't brought in to do what he's doing, and I think he's performed fantastically well. I mean,
I've said it before. Like, this is the thing that doesn't make sense with Moyes' comments about bringing players in. Fornals wasn't his player, and yet he's made him into a Moyes player. So what's the difference between bringing someone in from another league or a lower league and then converting them into a Moyes type player? So, Moyes was a flair player. Ben Rama is a flair player. And why can't he turn him into a Fornals? Is it because Ben Ramas are willing to be like that? But Fornals is now a hard worker. He prefers to work hard, apparently, than be a tricks and flicks kind of guy. So what makes Fornals different? Why can't Moyes do that to other players, but he can do it to Fornals? Doesn't make sense to me, but there you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, at that moment, you're thinking, do you know what, West Ham can be in this game. Like, we were in the game, mate. We were. I didn't at half time. I didn't think, the floodgates are going to open like an old West Ham. This is the point I'm trying to make. There isn't an old West Ham, and I know people might get fed up of saying that. I'll bring up the halftime stats though. It's interesting reading. 75% possession to Liverpool to West Ham's 25. West Ham had 10 shots at goal. Liverpool had 10 shots. 2 on target for Liverpool, 5 on target for West Ham. 2 shots blocked each as well. So it's fine you see that 75% possession goes to Liverpool, but it's what they do with that possession. And in the first half, like, I don't seem to remember thinking in that game, they're all over us. They're absolutely taking this game to us. There was moments rather than full level possession and completely dominating. I did notice a lot that the defense played the ball back along the line. They were trying to patiently build up their play, but they really couldn't get through. Fair play to Zuma, fair play to Dawson, fair play to Johnson, Creswell, all the usual suspects that were keeping any of the threats from really getting through in the final third. And it actually felt like a game that it was like if either of the teams could have broken the final third, it could have been a high-scoring game, because the stats were reading out like that, but none of the teams really could break through that issue.
I was quite surprised actually, because the number of times I said to him, we're down the pub watching it, I said to lads around me, I thought there was a goal coming because, and I've never seen Liverpool do this. Liverpool fans who watch Liverpool regularly might say no, it happens quite a lot. They were giving balls away. I think when Noble come on, I thought, what are we bringing him on for? He's going to slow us all down. The whole dynamic of our game's going to change. We're going to go defensive now. But when he come on, they try to play the ball out from the back, and it just kept coming to a West Ham player. And I was like, if we don't take advantage of this, it's our own fault, because the ball was coming to either Ben Rama, or it was coming to Fornals, or it was coming to Antonio, and it was just like they don't know what to do. They're clueless. They keep giving the ball straight to us, and we're doing nothing with it. And it was like, that was when I think Liverpool was starting to get on their back feet, because they were on top of us like before that, and then our chances seemed to come from that bit of play,
Yeah, absolutely. Literally, we've come into the second half. There's not been any changes, but straight away, West Ham are on the off again. Van Dijk got distracted from Antonio's jump, and he ends up nodding the ball back the way, but Jared Bowen's on the end of it, and he's going clean through on his favoured left foot. And again, it's one of those moments where like this, everywhere's doing it. And fair play to Robertson, mate. He got across and he tackled Bowen and got rid of the ball. However, really in doing that, it was only a couple of minutes later that we really saw the impact of actually what happened from that, and we saw that Jared Bowen went down injured. And yeah, he ended up having to come off, mate. I think they took about 4 minutes or so to deal with him. They didn't know, and he was trying to play on, and you could see him. He couldn't even really put any weight through his foot. Just talk me through how you felt at that moment, taking away what you know today, which is we've heard that the scan is actually looking like it's all right. It looked like it could have been an impact injury more than a long-term injury. So fingers crossed he could be fit for the Sevilla game. I hope he bloody is, because I'm going. So I just want to make sure he is as well. But yeah, talk me through that moment, mate, considering how influential he's been for West Ham this season.
First of all, I wonder how he felt having Klopp, scrub his head on the way to come back.
Sorry, see, that's the picture there. Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed from the cameras, when Klopp done that, right. Someone who I was watching it with went, if I was Moyes, I'd have been raging. But Moyes was too busy trying to work out who's coming on. So he actually turned his back at the moment. Right. And I thought, it's a bit of a shit move from you, Mr. Stupid Kloppy boy.
One of your players has got my players injured, and that's that's class in football. Fair enough. For a neutral, we might seem quite nice, but when one of your players injured you, you're going, oh, mate, your players just done me in. Yeah. The ball through to Bowen was systematic of every chance we had in that game. For me, it was one touch too many. I think you either take a couple of touches and then try and loop it over the keeper's head, or you bang it to. This is why I'm a professional footballer, like Jared Bowen is, so I know exactly what to do in that position. But when he done it, I thought to myself on the replays, that's a goal kick. I worried that he was going to be a long-term injury when I saw him down the ground, because many people said before, Jared Bowen doesn't go down easily. He doesn't stay down very long either. He normally tries to get himself back up straight away. So it was a little bit of there we go. This is going to be it'll be good news. But hopefully that means that he's not got any long-term. He might be all right now, come back to training, and before the Sevilla game, something else comes up. So hopefully it's not. But that again, it's like a top player of ours going off with an injury, and how do you rectify that? And we didn't. To me, I didn't really think we missed Bowen that much after he come off. Not like we thought, he's gone off now. That's it. All our confidence gone. All our, systems, maybe players going to change now. It didn't really. We kept up the same momentum, and it was really unlucky not to score, to be fair. And it was, I put that part of you guys with Jared Bowen. If he was still on the pitch, he'd be finishing these chances or whatever. But I was quite, satisfied with how we reacted to that. It was just a shame to see him go off the way he did.
Well, the player that came on for him was Said Benrahma. Depends on what West Ham fan you are and how you look at his performances. It's so up and down as a player. I can't really pinpoint exactly what it is that's right with him and what's wrong with him on several occasions. But as a whole, what did you think of his performance when he came on?
Not good enough, personally. I'm going to be quite harsh on him maybe, but I think he is best as a flair player, free roaming, let him do what he wants kind of player. I don't think he's suited to a David Moyes system of just working hard, working hard, working hard. I think he's got a bit of skill in him that he probably, if he's going to do anything for West Ham, he needs to be told, here's your free roll, go and have some fun. And for me, if he's not going to be allowed to do that, he's not going to be good enough to make a mark on the team. And that's nothing against him. I think he's been a great player for us. I think he's been a great, like, his attitude has been good. I think he was moaning last week when he come off against Wolves or whatever it was, Newcastle, that he was, I'm always being taken off. I'm always being taken off. And he's sort of looking at you going, you can understand why though. I mean, he doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really pull up any trees. Doesn't score enough goals. He looks like he's good for about 2 or 3 dribbles, try and go past the player, but he doesn't really tend to go past players very much. He's lacking something, and I think possibly I said yesterday I had a few drinks, so I was being a bit too harsh, but I said he's a championship player still. There's nothing of his performance that tells me that he's ready to step up and be a long-term Premier League footballer, which is a shame. Whether he would be better in a different team, being asked to play a different role is a different thing to think about. But I think under Moyes in his current setup, I don't think it's good enough for him. I think he's a good player that needs to play in a different team.
Before we move on, I'm going to jump through some of the chat. Liam Edwards is saying, I just want to get something off my chest. The lads played really well against the side that has dominated most matches this season. We made them work for that win. Happy Amaret says, we never have a lot of possession, still win a lot of games. Nice collective. Our protector Zuma played well. Came on, Antonio looked well up for it. Toby says, Leicester won on the Piston League with an average of a lot less than 50%. Cheer up, bro. Mark Alexander, some teams play possession football, some play counter-attack. Dab says, if losing to Liverpool means we beat Seville, I'll definitely take that.
I was like, no, you got me both.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though, if we turn up and give a performance like that, and remember, you've got players, Europa League, Europe, they've never came up against players like Antonio, mate. They haven't.
No, that'd be very interesting.
And that's the part. That's it's him. I'm really intrigued to see. And if he can give a performance, and Ben Rama's performances in Europa League have been really good as well. If the two of them can give us a performance, that could give us the boost to kick on again. But yesterday was a boost. Yesterday was a boost in a roundabout way.
What makes me laugh though is when you think about it. Right, we're out of both the domestic cups. We're falling down the league, and our last hope is West Ham winning a European Cup to try and salvage a top 4 chance. West Ham winning a European Cup, it's mad. This is what happens for West Ham. The madness continues.
Happy Amaret says, given our performance yesterday, I'm a little bit more confident for Sevilla. Cayman says Vlasic had a good game. We'll come on to Vlasic in a second. Happy said, I did notice Antonio having a go at Fabs for being slow with the goal kick. Wasn't a good watch, to be fair. There was several occasions.
No, I agree with him.
This is actually in Ben Rama's game in particular that I do notice that. I can't remember the player that ran down the right. I want to say it was Ben Johnson. I don't think it was, but I think it was Ben Johnson. It was running down the right, and Ben Rama came in from the left, and he had the ball. I swear to God, mate, he just had to spray the ball out wide. But I don't know if he kicked the ball too far. It meant he then had to take on another player. And he did get by that player, and the ball he played over wide, it got to our player, but it was really slow. The ball was really slow, it had no pace behind it. And at the time, I said to my dad, even though we've got possession, Liverpool have now got bodies back, and the break is gone. The break is gone, and I was like, just like get that ball quicker. And the coincidental thing is, we bring on historically the slower player in Mark Noble. And bang, mate, he was... I'm only going to say this because I think if you manage him through the last of his season, you can actually get him up for specific games. And bang, mate, he was spraying balls forward, left, right, and centre. His vision is like that. His vision we're on the break. Yeah, absolutely.
Passing ability is very good. I'm not knocking him for that. It's everything else that seems to be a bit of a... just let him down in the last 2 years, his pace and stuff like that. But
yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll move on to the game. Obviously, we know Noble came on for Vlasic. What did you think of Vlasic's performances yesterday?
I thought it was all right. I said earlier, I think he wasn't particularly brilliant. He wasn't particularly bad either. There's something about him that I like. And I think if he needs constant more game time, I'd rather play Vlasic than Ben Rama at this point. I think if, Benrahma seems to be having a bit of a tough time of selection and stuff like that in a minute. So if he can maybe get a game in over him, then great. We spent a decent amount of money on him for what is going to be basically used as a workhorse type player. So I want Moyes to get more out of him. Potentially, the game against Seville could be a good game for him to come into. I think he played Champions League for CSKA Moscow or something, didn't he? Or Europa League, one of the two. And I think he's got something about him for me. It's just we're just waiting to really unlock it. But for that to happen, he needs to play games. He needs to play regularly and possibly start a few games as well to try and get under that as well. But I liked him yesterday. I didn't think he pulled up any trees, but then I don't think he had. I don't think he's one of the worst players in the team either. I think everyone had played game. He had an average game. Let's say that average game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move into the game a little bit more, and it comes to the Lanzini moment, mate. The Lanzini moment. It's a sitter. It's an absolute sitter. He's done all the hard work, mate. Souček has crossed the ball in low, and it's absolutely Lanzini and the Souček's balls completely taking Van Dijk and Konate out of the equation completely. And he brings the ball down. It's kind of struggles to bring the ball down, but he does, and he's got only Alisson to beat, mate. Only Alisson to beat, and he fires the ball over the bar. And at that moment, again, you're just like this. What's going on? Okay.
It's like you just stubbed your toe on the hardest table in the house, isn't it? It's that bad. It was I mean the astronaut is going to be taking a few on the chin, I think, in the latest videos. But the one player you would think would be handy in that position, the best technical player we have in the team, the one who given a chance normally does put it away, and he summed it up. I knew we weren't getting a goal after that. I knew we weren't scoring after that. And I thought that has come at the perfect time. 20 minutes to go. There's even a chance to go and get a winner. Liverpool weren't particularly pulling up any trees themselves trying to get a second goal. So I thought that just summed it up. One of our best players on his day, there, goal beckoning. Alisson weren't going to save it. No defenders around him. And then just bowled it, quite simply.
You can say that again, mate. Listen, that wasn't the end of our chances, though. The game was a bit end to end at this moment. We were totally handling Salah. Craig Dawson, borderline, had Salah in his back pocket most of the game. To be honest, who thought they could say that? But in the 80th minute, mate, Antonio got himself through in goal after beating Robertson's tackle. He only had Alisson to beat, mate. Keisha got back and blocked Antonio's shot. I think he kind of tried to bring the ball onto his left foot. He kind of skipped by the player and he shot. And the funny thing is, at that point, I was like to my dad, Antonio, not again. But his shot was going to go on target. The player did block it, to be fair. Thoughts on Antonio's performance? This isn't the actual moment. I'm just giving you a picture of Antonio.
Very good. I think he's getting back to his best. The thing for me is unfortunately he's lost his scoring touch that he had at the start of the season, and things just aren't going for him. I think he's trying to do too much because he's having to do too much, and I'm letting the old striker thing go now because we ain't gonna get him until the summer anyway, and it'd be interesting to see what Moyes does. But I think he's getting a bit frustrated. Actually, I think he's becoming a bit angry, and I think he's just going a bit like, right, sod this. I'm just going to do whatever, and I'm going to run myself into the ground for West Ham once again, and just try and be the player that they want me to be. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. He's not the goal scorer he was at the start of the season. I can't see him getting another goal. I know he scored against Southampton, but in the league, he seems to be like every time he shoots, goes over the bar or something like that. Or he's coming over to the wing all the time to try and provide support to other players because no one else is doing it. And I just feel a bit sorry for him at this stage. I think Moyes is right. No one works harder than Antonio. Absolutely spot on. In fact, that's a completely true comment. And unfortunately, it's too true because there's then that you're lacking that your striker, the one who's meant to get the goals. There's only so much you can ask of someone, and he's into his 30s now. And how much is this season going to be taken out of him? Because it's us, it's Jamaica, and stuff like that. And I think he just needs to tweak and calm down in front of goal because he's still a bit erratic where shooting's concerned. But then there is that case that how many defenders he has around him because they are all scared of him. And most teams in the league are scared of him. And yesterday, when you've got one of the best defenders in the league in Van Dijk, and you're pretty much running means around him. I don't think Van Dijk had a great game yesterday. I think he had Van Dijk on his toes a number of times, and I think I just feel really sorry for him that he's not being able to put the ball in the onion bag because that's all that's missing from his game now. Last 3 to 4 games, even back to the old Antonio without having a scoring touch. And yesterday kind of summed it up for him. And I did feel a bit sorry for him. I do feel sorry for him. I will feel sorry for him for the rest of the season until he gets some help. So played well.
Yeah.
Just lacking that final touch,
Yep, absolutely. The game went on. We saw Moyes looking at the bench again, and we were talking a lot about a lot of the younger players on the bench. There's a load of young players sits on the bench. But he chose to bring on Dan Chesters. I thought he was going to come on a little earlier, but he did.
Yes,
good to see the young players getting a chance, though, isn't it?
It is. But what's the point with 2 minutes to go? I know that people will say it'll be good for him for his confidence, and you've got to bring someone on at that sort of time. And fantastic for lad to get an experience. But for me, it's like if he come on about 5 minutes earlier, and maybe you could have had a bit of an impact in the game. Big game for him to come on to, but you're going to bring him on for like a minute in that sort of that ethos of the game where we're not really going to look to score a goal, and anything else like that. It's going to be a bit of a bit of a dry spell for the lad. Really, he's going to come on, maybe run around the pitch a little bit and then come off again. So great to see he's using the youth, but he's not really using the youth. Any manager can do that. Any manager can bring a player on for a minute just to kind of waste time and say, look, I brought one on. I think Allardyce used to do it when he was in charge. He used to bring on to shut the fans up. Oh, look, you got. If you read the comments on the West Ham official page today, they've put down saying, great for Dan Chester to get his debut. And everyone's going, well, yeah, but what's the point? It was a minute to go. He's got nothing to do. There's no responsibility on him. And, there's no real time for him to affect the game. And that's where I think we're getting to a point now where I think maybe 10 years ago, it would have been great to see a young player, even for a minute. Yeah, great to see a young player, fantastic. But we're now at the stage now where we're looking for every player, every substitution to make an impact in the game. And it's like, yeah, okay, he's coming on, but he should have come on 10 minutes ago. He should have done something. So for me, it was great. It's good, nice to see. It's a novelty in many ways. Novelty to bring a youth player on, and academy football still growing. But to what avail? How was that going to help us out for a minute? Was this someone else that could have come on for the last minute that could have done something in the game? Probably not. Yep. So maybe he might as well have done, but you know what I
mean? Before we move on, let me read the statement that West Ham have put out about an hour ago on Jared Bowen. They said, West Ham United can confirm a scan has shown that Jared Bowen suffered no significant damage following the injury picked up at Liverpool on Saturday evening. The 25-year-old suffered an impact injury to his right heel during a challenge early in the second half at Anfield, and despite attempting to carry on, had to be substituted 5 minutes later. Head of Medical Richard Colleen said Jared underwent an MRI scan in London on Sunday morning, and thankfully no significant injury has occurred. He'll continue to be monitored by the medical team and will undergo further examination in the coming days. So it looks like what we said. It looks like it's going to be more of an impact on the player, an impact injury, which is good news. It's not anything to do with your Achilles, all that sort of stuff. And I think it's a precaution. He came off, which again, like I said, is massive news for West Ham fans. So touch wood, we can, they can monitor him over the next couple of days and see whether or not he will be fit for the game. But based upon that news you're hearing there, look, it's good news for West Ham, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. The last thing you want is a player like him to be out long term. So we've got Seville on Thursday, I believe. So touch and go will play that one. He probably will, because we all know that sometimes we don't think the player's going to play, and they do. And you need a player of his quality, the way he's been for us this season, to come in and not only play well, just play well. So whether he'll be on his top form, I'm not too sure. But thankfully enough, it's not anything too serious, and he'll go back in training and shake it off and carry on. There was someone else, I think, didn't Crespo have an impact injury that kicked him out for a game? I'm not too sure. I think it was against Hampton. He got knocked or stuff like that. Yeah, playing that game. But yeah, it's good. It's good news.
We're going to be doing a Sevilla preview, but if you're Moyes and it is just impact and you monitor him and things are kind of okay, Sevilla coming up it's a huge game. Last 16, Europa League. Do you classify it as a risk putting them in the team?
Yes and no. I can't answer that one because we've seen it so many times this season where you think a player's injured or isn't going to play, and then he starts in the starting. A bit like Lanzini. I think Lanzini a few weeks ago had a rumored Achilles injury, and then he was in the starting lineup. And he was playing fine, running around like nothing happened to him. So it's a classic Moyes move. You know, it's going to be a classic. Willie, won't you play? And you won't know, and no one else will know. And the only person who will know will be the team and Moyes. So I think if he does play, he's risking it slightly, but only he will know how much because they'll know. You know, to us, an impact injury could be anything. To be honest with you, it could be a knock on, you know, your dead leg for a day, or it could be a sore, could be a bump, a bruise, or whatever you like. It might be a risk long term, but I think it will be worth it if it is a risk because of how big the game is to us on Thursday. So it is a risk, but fuck it, basically.
Well, so what you're actually saying is, listen, at the end of the game, obviously 1-0 to Liverpool, disappointing, gutting actually, because you know at the end of the day, I thought West Ham gave a really good account of themselves, and actually gave me more positive feelings towards the rest of the season. Actually, if we can turn up and do a job like that, in the coming weeks, then yeah,
it's negative,
but yeah, well, you know, at the end of the day, it's been a odd few months really as a West Ham fan because we're so used to we're so used to a specific way, really, aren't we? A specific style and getting points on the board, and draws is something we never really thought much about, and when you get draws it kind of feels like a defeat half the time, and that's what makes the game coming up now against Sevilla so important. Every game's important anyway, but for me, when West Ham have a team like Sevilla or a big club, you've got to rise to the occasion. But it's also about letting them know, do you know what? We're West Ham, and you've never played a team like us before, and you've never played players like Antonio or Craig Dawson's of the world. So wait till you see what they're capable of doing. But it'll be interesting to see what Moyes does to manage the situation with Jared Bowen. And yeah, he's absolutely needed, as Happy Amaret is saying. He will absolutely be needed 100%. Vinay saying, agreed, should have rested player against Southampton. It's obvious many were not there mentally. Richard Stevens says, if only FA would approve mobility scooters, we could squeeze out another season of Nobes. Ashley Kemp, Southampton got smashed yesterday and City will knock them out. Hornswassler, hi everyone, been overseas but back in the Isles of Sicily. The other Sicily Hammers again now, good man. Kent, you play Bowen on Thursday if it's at all humanly possible. It's a worthy risk. I completely agree with you, mate. There were so many negative fans at Anfield, constant moaning all the way through the game. Get behind the lads. What's the point in watching them? They can hear us. What are they saying? Scousers were there for the taking with Rice in the team and Bowen not getting injured. We would have won. Noble made a big difference in the second half. He did. But do you know, Hornswassler, on the basis of the fact that he made a big difference, do you keep him in the team and play him? My answer to that is no. He was great. He doesn't start, but it's about how you manage him. That's what I think, and you can get the best out of it as well. Mice Collective say play Bowen if it's at all possible. I mean, you know, the last comment I'll ask the people in the chat is, what would you do with Bowen based upon what I've read out to you? It's an impact injury. It doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term injury. They're going to monitor him over the next couple of days. Would you in the chat play him? Yes or no? Put the comments in as well. Look, sum it up, mate. Sum up the day yesterday and how you feel moving forward.
Frustrating, and I find myself repeating that word over and over again these days. Frustrating, but proud of the performance. Just unfortunately, we couldn't get a just rewards, which we deserved, to be honest with you. Going forward, we seem to have this consistent level now. At least we're trying again to try and win games, and we're maybe just not good enough at this point. But we just need a bit of help, a bit of luck. We need luck sometimes, and luck wasn't with us yesterday, unfortunately. But Thursday might be different, and we need to just keep our heads above water and do what we can. But yeah, frustrating, but not terrible. So frustrating and a bit gutted.
Yep, absolutely. Sorry, you can probably hear the kids in the background, but that's just what we have. It's fine. NWO says 5 days of rest if he's fit. Yes. Mice Collector says rest Bowen if needed, don't risk an injury. Cayman says, where is it here? Where's that gone? Cayman says rest him if he needs it. Crosshammer says yes. Indeed, Hammerette, he steadied the whole side. Vinay, don't risk Bowen. He needs to be 100%. Play Benny and Masuaku. Vlasic's too predictable. Richard Stevens, such a difficult one. The Villa game could be more crucial. Peter Jones, I feel the performance over the last 45 games proves we needed some more signings in January, and Sullivan's business has failed us. Fredo says Bowen will play. He is a hammer and most likely score along Mickey on Thursday. Luke, you were going to say something there.
I didn't. I was reading the comments. Sorry.
All right. What do you think from the comments then about?
Well, that Masuaku comment flustered me because I like Masuaku, but only if he's playing as an attacking role. I didn't think anyone else on the face of the planet wanted to see Masuaku apart from me play again. So the fact that someone's putting out there with like in the start is good for me. It's nice to have someone else in the world that likes him as well. But it'd be nice to see Vlasic play again. Like I said, I think he needs more game time. He needs to start more games in a row. So that would only benefit him. I think. I think there's a comment about Noble, isn't there? Stabilise the team. That would probably quite true. Actually, probably come on and stabilised us like Rice normally does. So it was a good thing in a way that he come on, I suppose. So yeah, I mean the comments are genuinely positive. Really, no one's really slagging us so far. No one's saying this is a terrible team. We're going to still go down. Everyone knows how well we played yesterday. I'm just unlucky not to get there. And I'm surprised actually that people want to save Bowen. I thought they would have said risk him. So. Football's all about opinions, and maybe if we do play him, it'll be the worst thing we could do because he'll go injured in the first half or something, and maybe if we rest him, it'll be good in long term because he won't have another injury. But it's football, and you just never know, do you? So it's interesting, that's for sure.
It really is, mate. It really, really is. Loads of comments to go, and then we'll close off the show today. Where are we? Freno was saying Bowen will play. He's a hammer and most likely score along Mickey on Thursday. A Neil full strength team in form would have a chance if we can win. Ashley Kemp says Benny on the bench. Reading aloud. Look, is Frederick still injured? Well, we've heard he's back in training. So I mean, I don't know. His pace could be an issue. We'll talk about the Sevilla game in the preview coming up. Let's hope Chelsea drop after the rush. God, nice collective. We like Antonio too. His first name is Mickey, so it's close to the heart. Desjardins Latelec, Berunama. It's no use bringing Okaflex and Alessi from the other 23s. Vinay says Masuaku is great at carrying the ball forward, objectively better than Vlasic. Mark says Sevilla have injuries. If there isn't time to play them, it's now. It's true. Absolutely. Happy Emirate. Thanks, guys. No worries. Will Rice be back for the Sevilla game? We think he will be. Look, last thoughts, mate.
Liverpool got lucky. Hopefully, Sevilla won't be as lucky. A bit underwhelmed by Moyes, but I'm not going to completely slag him off because he's done well with us so far. So hopefully he sorts his head out in his comments because it still don't make sense to me personally. But there you go. Unlucky yesterday. Well done for everyone going up. Good support. Happy Emirate doesn't agree. But yeah, no, frustrating, but good performance. And I guess at the end of the day, that's what you can ask for is the team to perform. If they don't win, they don't win. But at least they tried and give it a go. And we were just unlucky in the end of the day, weren't we? So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Absolutely, mate. Listen, thank you very much for joining us. If you're new around here, please go and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the subscription button. There's beside that, there's a little bell notification as well. If you hit the bell notification, that will notify you when our shows go up in advance. Oh, okay, let's bring you back on. Where are you? Go on.
Sorry, I don't always look like the head from Art Attack. It's just because the lighting.
I love it.
The lighting's gone and no one can see the wallpaper, which is why I haven't turned the light on to try and beam me up. So I look creepy. I'm not always like this, all right?
Yeah,
no worries. In some ways.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Tomorrow you should get the match day debrief from DJ Russie B. And we will keep you up to date with what the shows are coming up moving forward. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, if you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. If you're not, and also hit the thumbs up if you have enjoyed today's show. Take it easy, stay safe, and if you haven't already, go and check out Football Prize's most recent prize. Declan Rice and Jared Bowen signed and Joe Frame football boots. Enter now for just £6.95. Go across to Football Prize's website. Great prize. Matt has not entered. Do not worry. Matt has not entered. So make sure you do go across there and check out the prize. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and come on, you Irons.